is a green set court. It is an indoor surface that's very similar to what you may remember as a Supreme Court that has been played on for so long. And it is playing more slowly than it used to because the balls are apparently heavier. The result is that the tennis here has been more compelling this year than any other event that I've ever seen at this tournament. 4-3 Sampras ahead.
Boris Becker won the Stockholm Open a couple of weeks ago, beating, among other people, Pete Sampras. He beat the number 1, 2, and 3 player in the world, and that was a much, much faster surface, and Pete looked rather hapless against Becker. That's his 8th ace. The other night, really, I mean, Sampras could not break Becker, and he had 2 bad service games, and that's why it was a straight sets win. The slower surface, I would think, would favor... I think Sampras prefers the slowness of this court more than Becker. Becker likes a court with speed on it. That's why he's so tough on the indoor season and at Wimbledon.
Oh! 15-all.
Pretty good outfit. Clifford looked good in that.
Clifford looked good in anything but his own clothing. Let's face it, Fire.
30 love.
He's just got terrific rhythm on the serve at the moment. And you can keep rolling at this stage of the opening set, and you've still got your first serve percentages up there at 74%. That's just brilliant play. You don't have to play too many tough volleys under those circumstances. Boy, can't do much about it.
4 games all in the Singles World Championship here in Frankfurt. Next weekend, Fred and I will be in Jakarta, Indonesia. The Doubles World Championship, Jacco Hilting and Paul Hauhus of Holland, and then Byron Blacks from Nick Price's country of Zimbabwe. He's playing with Jonathan Stark of the USA. And you've got the Woodies, Woodford and Woodbridge, and Patrick McEnroe and Jared Palmer are alternates. Not sure that they'll get to play. 4 games all. First set here with Sampras about to serve.
That's the return of serve that I think is a little different to Sampras's return, and Sampras is down at 43% on first serves. Becker has the ability to flatten this return out. It catches Sampras even behind that service line. That's when things start to get very difficult. He made a pretty good shot of it, looked at a good volley. It was not a difficult volley. I think it took him a bit by surprise, that shot. A little too easy for him, and he missed it.
15-all. 15-all. Said to Byron Black at the US Open this year, I said, I hope you've called Nick Price, congratulate him being #1 in the world, because at a certain time he was #1 in the world in doubles, you know. And he said, no, but I think I should do that. 15-all. Byron Black will be the World Doubles Championship next weekend. 30-15. It's jammed, this place. Any untaken seat that you see in your shot is only untaken because it doesn't have a view of the court.
Oh, that's the first wild one that he's played. He lifted right up on that backhand. That's the difference, though, between that shot. He doesn't flatten that shot out as well as Becker does. Big point right now.
Yep.
And listen to the crowd, the hometown crowd. This is where it becomes difficult when you're #1 in the world, or it doesn't matter who you are if you're playing against Boris Becker. Still below 50% on first serves. There we go, under pressure. The only double fault that he served so far in the match. It's come at a terrible time for Sampras.
First break point for Becker.
And a little bit of that's got to do with the crowd.
One bad game is all it takes.
He's got it. What a shot on the return. He was waiting for it, and he just hit it clean cut for a winner. And Becker has drawn first blood. He's got the lead 5-4, and he'll serve for the first set after they take a seat. Remarkable career for Becker. He won Wimbledon when he was just 17 years old in 1985. In 1986, he got up to number 2 in the world. He never made it to number 1, though, until he won the Australian Open in 1991. It didn't last long, though, as Edberg then overtook him, and they swapped the number 1 spot for most of that year. He dearly liked to get back to number 1, but he's got a long way to go to catch up with Sampras points-wise. He's serving for the first set.
Pretty much a carbon copy set this from the first match they played in the round robin competition, only it was a game later when disaster struck Sampras. And the telltale has been the serve. Only tonight it's the first serve from Boris Becker. The other evening it was the second serve, but Pete Sampras is pretty much in the same hole. He did not serve well the other night, and he's down at 42% first serves in today.
Love 15.
Onto that forehand again.
15.
Becker has just served, I mean, extremely well. Let's face it, 9 aces. And he's keeping the pressure on even in the second serve.
Again, he credits his fitness. He says he's getting a lot of strength from his legs and from his stomach muscles.
Yeah, 15-30.
There's a good return there from Sampras. Stayed down low. Becker couldn't do much with the volley, and Sampras was helped by the net cord here. Watch this. Hits the top of the tape, takes a fair bit of pace off her, so that allows Sampras to wait for Becker to commit. Becker was looking for the backhand down the line.
Yeah, that's just a great return there from Sampras, putting the pressure on Becker. Now he's got a couple of break points. Becker is played so well, in my opinion, because he's got his strategy right. There is no questioning himself. He's trying to get into the net really at the first chance. On the other hand, Sampras sees himself as an all-court player, which he is. But I think that makes him hang back more than he should on a surface like this. Break point.
Well, that was a bad shot. It's all very well to say that from up here, but just in consideration of the shots that he's played before in this game, that backhand never got halfway up the net. An opportunity for him to break back. Tough serving for the first set. It's not like Becker's not as relaxed as he is in this game. He has been to get to 5-4. Still a break point.
He got it. That will not go down in the record books as an ace, but it might as well.
Well, you don't get too many opportunities, and Sampras threw one away with an opportunity to make the passing shot 2 points ago.
Deuce. Topspin lob was a little short, and that gave Becker the advantage in that point, and he has now got set point coming up.
Becker.
That was more relaxed serve. That was just, that's the first big one that he's gone for. Just under there. Look at Sampras is worried from the crowd because it's starting to get to him even here at the back of the court. He's raising his hand saying, come on, it's just like being at an NFL game when the quarterback or the tight end gets the crowd, wants him to cheer so they can't hear. So Sampras has got to try and block that out.
122 mile-an-hour ace.
Thing is, Fred, as much as it's great for Becker that they're all behind him, that kind of energy from the fans, it could help Sampras too. It can get him heated up.
Well, I don't think I've ever played in a situation where that's happened.
You?
Yeah.
Oh, come on, you get it. I mean, if there's that much energy in the crowd, the match becomes real big and you get into it, don't you? I mean, it becomes a heavyweight.
Get into it. He's not going to go away and leave it, but does. No, it makes him want to win more, if that's what you mean, yeah.
That's a great shot from Becker, 15-all.
But it gives, my point is, I don't disagree with that. My point is that it gives Becker a lot more of an edge in a situation like that than it does.
It's Davis Cup.
Yeah, it's Davis Cup. It's playing home ground advantage, and Davis Cup is worth a couple of points.
15-all.
Oohs and ahs.
I remember Jaroslav Drobny talking about playing against an Italian player in Rome, and you know all about that, Fred.
Oh, yeah,
but
I used to like doing that. That used to get me going. That's what Mary was.
30-15. But he used to say, I mean, you sweat blood out there, and eventually when you won, the Italian crowd would get up and cheer. And
that's a good serve there from Sampras. He needs a few more of those.
Game point. Sampras will change hands, down a set, leading 1-0 to love, though.